time and I'm added to the stage. Hello. Very nice. And then we are adding our next one to the stage here. Fantastic. Oh, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Can't have that. Can't have that. Great. And multiple things here. So, aha. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All systems are a go. Loving it. All right. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to tonight's live webinar. No tricks, no treats, just busting the top 7 real estate myths. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. So, if we have not had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Natasha, your Arizona realtor and homeowner advocate, proudly serving the greater Phoenix metro area. I have had the pleasure of helping homeowners and home buyers sell smarter, keep more equity, and move forward with confidence without all the scary surprises that come with outdated real estate advice. Now, be sure to drop in the chat and tell me where you are tuning in from tonight. Are you joining me from Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, somewhere else in Arizona, or somewhere else in the US or the world? I'm curious. Who am I speaking to? It is Halloween week, so I did dress up for you a little a little bit there. And I'm curious, so be sure to let me know. Who am I speaking with here? Okay, Phoenix, nice. Prescott, all right, love it. Mesa, LA, Chicago, okay, Indiana. Okay, Indiana's a big state. We're in Indiana. Love to hear it. Texas, yep, Texas too, a big state. Love to know where in Texas are you hailing from? So let me know in the chat. Perfect. Well, very nice. Thank you for being here. So tonight we're digging into 7 of the biggest real estate myths that hold homeowners back. And I promise that by the end of the session, you will walk away with the truth about selling your home in today's Arizona market. We might be here, you may be here because it's been, 15 to 20 years since your last home sale. Maybe you've never sold before, or maybe you've been watching the market wondering if this is really the right time for you to make a move. And if that sounds like you, well, you're in the right place. This is supposed to be an educational and empowering space. No pressure, no jargon, just real talk and real solutions. So let's kick off with one of the biggest myths. Well, hey, wait a minute now. Before we get there, I did want to go over just a few things. Why not? Some of you have access to my slides, TikTok. I'm sorry you don't. You'll just have to listen. Very good. So, before we dive into tonight's main topic, let's start with a quick update on what's happening in the local real estate market as we head into the final stretch of 2025. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that interest rates have finally stabilized. After months of ups and downs, rates are now lower than we saw the first part of the year. And that's giving buyers a little more breathing room and bringing fresh energy back to our real estate market. If you've been holding off and waiting for the perfect rates to materialize, this just may be your window. Mortgage experts are calling this the calmest lending environment that they've seen in the past 12 months. And that's creating a wave of opportunity on both sides for buyers and sellers. Now, let's talk a little bit about inventory, the number of homes available for sale across Arizona. We've seen a notable increase over the past few months, especially in the greater Phoenix metro area and Tucson markets. We're shifting away from that red hot seller's market. And we're sitting in a much healthier space now, a balanced market. And what does that mean? You're like, okay, buyers, sellers, balance. What does that mean? It means that buyers have choices and sellers are competing again, which brings out the best for both. But here's the key: homes in great condition and priced right are still selling quickly, sometimes within days. So the market's not slowing down, it's becoming smarter. Now, when we zoom in regionally, here's what we're seeing. In the greater Phoenix metro area, still the engine of Arizona real estate, places like Chandler, Gilbert, and Scottsdale, they remain strong because of their job growth, because of the job of growth, and the majority of the jobs are in those areas, strong school system, and lifestyle amenities. In Tucson, experiencing a rise in out of state relocations, especially from California and Texas. It's more affordable and it offers a greater mix of urban life and open space. Then you have fast growing urban areas like Queen Creek, Maricopa, Casa Grande, Buckeye. They really continue to attract first time home buyers and families looking for more house for the money. These areas are building fast, but they're also adding new infrastructure, which is so cool to see. Shopping and dining areas, schools. So they're not just affordable, they are livable. Another big trend we're seeing this fall is the return of seller concessions. It's really, we're seeing it in 2025. That means that sellers are once again offering to help with things like closing costs, rate buy downs, and repairs, which is something that we definitely didn't see in 2020, 2021, 2022. It's a clear sign that buyers are back in the driver's seat, at least for the time being, at least partially. And for anyone who's been sitting on the fence wondering if they missed the market, the truth is, this is the market. It's one full of opportunity if you know how to play it. So, whether you're thinking about buying your first home, you're moving up, you're trying to downsize, the best next step really is to understand what is happening in your neighborhood because real estate is hyperlocal, not across the state. Let's kick off with one of the biggest myths out there. And honestly, a little scary. And it is, I have to wait for the perfect time to sell. Have you ever heard someone say this? I'm just waiting for the market to go back up, or maybe I'll sell when rates drop, or I'll wait for prices to climb again. Here's the truth. There is no such thing as a perfect real estate market. Real estate, real estate is kind of like Arizona weather, okay? One day it's 75 and sunny, and the next day you're asking why your car is melting, right? The market moves in cycles, not perfection. Here's what most homeowners don't realize: you don't sell based on the market, you sell based on your life, your lifestyle. Maybe you've outgrown your home. Maybe you're relocating for work. Maybe you want cash. You want to cash in your equity before retirement or just to simplify your life. Those are real timing factors. If you wait for the market to peak, you'll likely miss it entirely because the only way to spot a peak is when you've already moved past it. Let's share a little story. All right? Why not? Right? We're on social. We're supposed to be social, right? Let's give it a try. One of our past clients here in the Phoenix area, we're going to call her Marsha. All right? And Marsha wanted to sell her home back in late 2022. And if you guys were around late 2022, you know what happened. All right. We had a significant rise in interest rates. Okay. So prices were cooling slightly. And Marcia said, Natasha, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait 6 more months and I'm going to make more money. That's just how the market is. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to wait. Right. Well, 6 months later, we had more inventory on the market. So buyers had more to choose from. Mortgage rates jumped up, and we had many more similar homes on the market, both existing homes and new home inventory that were priced less than what Marsha wanted to price her home at. So when she finally listed for sale, she said, I wish I had started my life timing instead of waiting to time the market. And she's not alone. All right. Thousands of Arizona homeowners have learned that lesson the hard way. There's no perfect market, there's only the right plan for you. And that's why I decide to help sellers look at the micro market data here in the greater Phoenix metro area. It's neighborhood by neighborhood. So we can identify their ideal window to list based on trends, condition, and ultimately your lifestyle goals. So let me ask you, if you are selling in the next 6 to 12 months, uh, could it help you move if you knew what that personal timing window was? Would that help you? And if you said yes, well, that's exactly what I cover in my free strategy session. All right. You can book that by going to my link and scheduling that one on one, no pressure, no obligation, completely personalized to your home situation. All right. So let's do it. What do you got to lose? All right. Myth number two. Myth number two. I love this one because it gives me a chance to really dig into what I really do for clients, right? And the myth is all agents are the same. I hear this all the time. Oh, there's so many agents and all you do the same, you all do the same thing. And that's just not correct. So on the surface, that statement, it sounds believable, right? Everyone's licensed. Everyone goes through the same trainings to get their real estate license and state by state, but everyone in Arizona goes through the same training and get their license, and everyone who has a license can list someone else's house for sale, right? And they can put in the MLS, and they can put a sign in the yard, right, and take some pictures. I mean, hell, you can take pictures with your phone these days, right? I mean, it sounds pretty easy. But here's the trick. I know I said no tricks, but we're just going to sneak one in. Here's a trick. The gap between the average agent and a homeowner advocate can be worth tens of thousands of dollars in your pocket. And that's that's just the way it is. Think of it like this. You hire a realtor is like hiring, a pilot. Technically, both can fly the plane, but who do you want in the cockpit when the weather gets rough? All right. The one who knows how to use the instruments. And the instruments for listing homes are marketing, digital tools, negotiation, and communication, definitely, to help land you safely and profitably. That's what I do for sellers here in the greater Phoenix metro area. So this isn't 2008 anymore. It isn't 2014. It isn't 2021. The Arizona housing market moves quickly. Buyers start online, and the algorithms largely decide which listings get seen first. That means the way you market your home, from professional photography to video tours to SEO optimized descriptions and AI powered ads, determines whether your listing gets hundreds of views or none at all. So here's just one thing I mentioned to sellers. If your home doesn't show up on Google, on the top searches of Zillow, it's basically invisible, right? That's why we build the digital first listing strategy using social media, videos, targeted ads that speak to real buyer behavior. And that's also why I host webinars like this to educate property owners on what works in today's market, not what works 10 years ago, right? Another example for you, another little story. Past client, David in Glendale. David had a home listed with another agent and it was listed for about 60 days. Okay. They received no offers and one showing. All right. And we spoke. He scheduled that strategy session. We spoke and he was frustrated, right? He was irritated. All realtors this and all realtors that. I hear it. It's okay. Right. And he was ready to pull the plug, right? It's just like, I'm done with this process. I'm ready to pull the plug. And we launched the digital strategy, updated the photos, the marketing, pushed out video tours across social media channels, various areas. And within 7 days, we had 5 showings and a solid offer. Right? We didn't even get to the open house stage. So why? Why did this happen? Because I didn't just list a home. I didn't just stick a sign in the yard and pray. Okay. I launched it with data, with exposure, with buyer psychology in mind. So, all right, drop a smiley in the chat here if you have ever seen a home online and thought, ooh, those pictures are awful. Or there's no pictures. What happened to the inside? I only see a picture of the outside of the house. What does the inside look like? Let me know if you've seen something like that. I'm curious. Exactly. Photos, marketing, storytelling, it all matters. And that's why, sadly, all agents are not the same. Here's the truth behind this myth. A great agent doesn't just sell homes, they strategize outcomes. So if you're thinking about selling in the next year, don't just hire anyone who comes with a real estate license to sell your home. Hire someone who is going to launch your property appropriately, someone who understands digital marketing, negotiation, psychology in Arizona real estate. Someone like me, dare I say it, okay? Your Arizona realtor and homeowner advocate. Yes, you can book that call. It is free. We go over the particulars of your home, understand where values are in your area because again, real estate is hyper local and develop a strategy tailored to you. All right. Let's talk about the myth that trips up so many sellers. Myth number 3, and that is if I price my home high, I'll have room to negotiate. Sounds logical, right? Most people don't negotiate up, they negotiate down. So it sounds logical that you want to leave some wiggle room and maybe catch that one buyer who will pay top dollar. But pricing too high doesn't attract better offers. It scares buyers away before they've even looked at your home. In today's market, everything is online, right? They go online first. They're using filters, show me homes under 600,000 for example. And if your home is worth 595 and it's listed at 625, guess what happens? It doesn't show up in that search. You disappear from those search results. You're invisible to those buyers who would have loved your home. Buyers, let's say they're like bees, right? They swarm towards a listing that feels right, it's priced right, it looks good. If you overprice it, you're basically putting a do not disturb sign on the front door on that listing. Myth 4. Oh, this is. Uh, Folks, thank you very much for trying to join, but I am not inviting anyone else to host today. I don't know who you guys are, so thank you for listening, but not doing that. Okay, great. Next, another myth that is kind of expensive. And it says, I don't need to make repairs, but buyers can just deal with that. They can just deal with it. And I hear that a lot, right? Especially from sellers who are short on time, short on energy. And I get it, right? Who wants to fix up a home you're not going to live in anymore? You're short on time, you're short in energy. You don't want to fix the drywall, you don't want to fix the leaky faucet before moving. But here's the catch. You have to look at your property versus the competition because buyers are. All right. And today's buyer, they expect move in ready because they are busy too. Even small issues can feel like giant red flags. When buyers tour your home, they're not just seeing walls and floors, they feel they're feeling for value, right? A drippy faucet says maintenance headaches. Peeling paint says neglect, right? An outdated light fixture just speaks of hidden costs to some buyers. These are what I call micro signals, okay? And they influence how buyers perceive your home's value, right? And the same goes for presentation, right? It's kind of like dating. You show up for dinner with spinach in your teeth. Someone you might wonder what else they missed. Just saying. Okay. Okay. Now, one of the past sellers in Phoenix, she was getting ready to sell the home. Home was in 1980s ranch style home, okay? And let's call this past client Rachel. All right. And Rachel said, Natasha, listen, I don't want to put another dime into this home. I can't afford it. All right. I'm not going to do any big renovations. Not going to happen. All right. And the buyer can just do the updates. And I asked, it should be open to a pre-listing mini makeover. Okay. Let's just say if there were things that you had to fix that would get you top dollar. Okay, let's say, just throw out a number given the price point of the home. We said $2,500, right? What could you do with that to get more bang for your buck, right? Could you change the lighting, maybe? Could you paint? Yes. Could you possibly replace some of the flooring in the bedroom? Yes. Could you add some curb appeal to the front of the house? Yes. Okay. Then we're not talking about kitchen remodel, bathroom remodels. Okay. We're talking about small updates that freshen up the property. And she agreed. She agreed reluctantly, but she agreed. We listed 2 weeks later, and we received a full price offer for what her as is estimate had been. And she told me after closing, those little fixes made a $20,000 difference. Yeah, yeah, they can. And here's what I recommend focusing on if you decide to sell and you're prepping your home for sale. All right. Focus on fresh paint, neutral tones, lighting updates, landscaping, and curb appeal. Okay. Even if I'm not talking about putting down turf and all this, but if there's weeds back there, let's clean up the weeds. Okay. Let's add some color to the front of the yard. So when they drive up to the home, they don't just drive off. We want them to come through the front door, right? Small plumbing or electrical fixes, replacing old carpet, smelly things in the home, deep cleaning the home. You don't need to remodel the kitchen, remodel the bathrooms, but you do need to make the home feel cared for. Buyers don't fall in love with perfection, they fall in love with possibility. Skipping repairs doesn't save you money, but it does cost you leverage. When buyers see deferred maintenance, they lower their offers or they don't offer at all, right? And remember, first impressions happen twice. They happen online and they happen at the front door. If your home looks loved, it sells faster for more money. Period. End of story. So before you list, let's talk about your home's top ROI, return on investment fixes. Don't go rogue and just do things on your own. Make sure you consult with a real estate professional before making those fixes. Don't just do do it just because you thought someone would like it. A lot of times they don't. Okay. Myth number 5. Myth number 5 would be, see this one pop up every few months, especially when the market starts to get a little competitive or people are like, I don't want to pay real estate commissions. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. And I get it. I get it. Okay. And they say, I can sell my home myself and save money. All right. And on paper, that looks great, right? You keep more money in your pocket on paper, but in reality, it usually ends up costing you more than it saves you. For sale by owner reality, home for sale by owners typically sell for less, you know, 10 plus percent less than agent represented homes, according to the National Association of Realtors. And why is that, right? We all have the internet, right? You can put a sign in the yard, I can put a sign in the yard, you can take pictures, I can take pictures. Like, what's the big deal, Natasha? I can do this, okay? Because most for sale by owners underestimate what it takes to get top dollar, from marketing reach, pricing data to negotiating power and liability protection. Let me help break that down for you. When you sell your own home, you are not just the homeowner. You're also the marketer, the negotiator, the photographer, the videographer, the legal compliance officer, the showing scheduler, the contract um, manager, the therapist, the problem solver when things go sideways. That's not a weekend project. It's a full-time job. All right. I had one homeowner in Mesa. We'll call him Carl. Carl tried to sell his home himself last summer. And we all know what Arizona summers are like. It's hot. Okay. And he got some calls, and bravo for you for trying. Mostly curious neighbors and agents trying to get the listing. Okay. And he finally got an offer. The buyer inspection, revealed some issues, and he didn't know how to negotiate that part. And the deal fell apart. So we spoke because, yes, I was one of those agents calling to see if I could be of assistance. And the buyer's inspection revealed some issues. Okay. He didn't know about deal fell apart, right? So again, we spoke, and he thought he was saving 3%, right? And he actually lost more like 7 or 8%. He lost time, right? Because that buyer wasn't coming back. We relaunched the property properly, professional photos, digital marketing, staging, various campaigns, and he ended up selling that property quickly and selling it for more. Here's here's something most people don't like to think about also, right? Is the legal factor, the legal risk of selling the home on your own. Arizona real estate law requires certain disclosures and certain timelines. Miss one form or forget to disclose something, even accidentally, You ignorance is not bliss, okay? You could face major penalties and lawsuits potentially down the road. All right. As a licensed real estate professional here in Arizona, I protect my clients, right, from that risk. And that's part of the value that you're paying for, peace of mind. When you have professional representation, you're not just paying for marketing, you're paying for expertise, for protection, and for higher returns. Trying to save on commission can cost you your equity. A skilled real estate agent doesn't cost you money, they make you money. And that's why I don't see myself as just a salesperson, but a homeowner advocate, representing your equity, your safety regards to real estate, and your best financial outcome. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, Natasha, whatever, right? I want to understand what selling with a plan really looks like for me. Great. I'm happy to walk you through it. Excuse me. Be sure to schedule that free seller strategy, and we'll cover the pricing strategy, we'll cover staging tips, we'll cover the marketing roadmap that is particular to you and your area. All right. So here's a quick check in. Who is still with me? All right. Type treats only. Let me know if you're listening out there. I love to hear from you. And yes, be sure to let me know where you are listening from. Man, a little too shaky here. Okay. Be sure to let me know where you are listening from. So I see some good questions coming in. We will have a Q&A session at the end. So hang tight. Hang tight. Thank you, mucho. Right. On to myth. What are we, too many things. Apparently, I didn't turn off all my notifications. just, just learning. We're live, folks. Okay, so we're live. Bear with me. Bear with me. Thank you very much. All right. Myth number 6. My goodness, we are having some challenges. Yes. Myth number 6. You have to fix everything before you sell. No, not true. You know the feeling when you start cleaning out the closet and you're like, "Oh my God, I created more work for myself." Let me tell you, I'm doing that right now. Cleaning up I created more work for myself. Okay. And suddenly it feels like the entire place is falling apart. And that's exactly how many homeowners feel when they start thinking about selling. They start making mental lists. I need to replace the carpet. I need to paint. I know this kitchen is outdated. You should probably repaint every room. And I need better baseboards. And before you know it, it feels like the money pit. Remember that movie? So you don't have to fix everything, okay, before you sell the home because the next person's going to come in, they're going to personalize it. Okay, so I wouldn't do that, but we would like to take a look at things that are important for your return on investment. Right? Talk about what really matters. In the greater Phoenix metro area, buyers today are willing to overlook some small cosmetic flaws, especially if the home is priced right and it has some great bones, right? The goal isn't perfection, the goal is presentation. You're not trying to make your home brand new again, right? You're helping buyers see themselves living there, decluttering, deep cleaning, touch up paint where it counts, making sure the home smells fresh, feels bright and open. That's it. You don't need to gut the kitchen, replace the floors, and to attract solid offers. Not necessary. Myth 7. You don't need an agent today, right? You have online tools. You don't need an agent today. That is myth number 7. And quite frankly, it's one of my favorites because I hear it all the time. Natasha, homes sell themselves. Everyone's online. Why do I need a realtor? Why do I need a real estate agent? Well, Let's unpack that, shall we? Yes, the internet has made it easier for buyers to see homes, but seeing a home is more about visibility, right? So, excuse me, selling a home really is more about visibility. It's about strategy. It's about protection. It's about negotiation. You wouldn't perform your own dental work, would you? Right? I wouldn't. Just because you watched some YouTube videos or you saw some reels on Insta, same idea, okay? This requires strategy, education, presentation, negotiation. In today's Arizona market, having the right real estate professional isn't a luxury, it is a necessity. Homes aren't exactly flying off the shelves. So, because here's what's happening right now, the market is shifting city by city. Some areas are sellers markets, others are balanced markets, and some are a little bit more balanced. Interest rates and affordability are changing buyer behavior weekly. And pricing strategy, it's an art form. You price too high, you scare off buyers. And if you price it too low, you leave money on the table. So, having a professional who studies these micro trends daily, someone who lives and breathes the Phoenix metro real estate market, can literally mean the difference between a fast, smooth sale or months of frustration. Story time. Yes. I had a client in Peoria a little while back, and they decided to list their home for sale by owner to save on the commission. See? Challenges. Okay. To save on the commission. Hey, go for it. I will never tell you not to give it a try. Go for it. They got some showings, okay, because it's a popular area. But in 30 days, they didn't have any offers. Buyers kept lowballing them, pointing out repairs that weren't real issues. But they weren't sure how to really have those discussions with the buyers. They were a little bit too emotional about the home. And when they called me, I stepped in. We tweaked the pricing. We reviewed the strategy to get the best offer for this home, added professional marketing, highlighted the home's strengths online. And within 2 weeks, we had strong offer, one of which was higher than the previous offer that they received, right? So after closing, the seller was like, hiring you actually made me money, even after your commission. And that is the power of representation. Now, beyond the numbers, there's another layer, okay? We're emotional beings, okay? I don't have any feelings about your home, but you most certainly do. And it's also about protection, legal protection. Selling a home, residential real estate is emotional, okay? It just is. You have your memories there, good, bad, or ugly. They still exist. For many people, real estate is their largest asset, and sometimes the stress of negotiations can make people act more emotional than logical. Let's just say that. A good realtor keeps the deal calm, protects your interests, and handles the tough conversations for you. And at the end of the day, when a buyer's agent, a lender, a title company, the HOA, the inspector, the appraiser are all emailing you at once, you'll be grateful to have someone in your corner keeping it all organized and on track. If you're thinking of selling, interviewing agents who understand the specifics of your market, offer modern marketing, which include uh, professional photography, video, social media strategy, SEO reach, and have empathy, are not just reviewing the numbers, because selling isn't just about getting the buyer. It's about creating a profitable, smooth, and stress free or less stressful transition to your next chapter. So, those are our 7 myths for the evening. Quick recap for you. 1, you have to sell your home as is. Nope. strategy matters. Two, you need perfect timing. Nope. The right plan works in any season. Myth three, pricing high gives you room to negotiate. And no, it drives buyers away. Myth four, Zillow knows your home's value. And that could be a starting point. It's important to know what's out there about your property, but it may not be the truth. Myth five, open houses sell homes. Listen, I have sold homes in the on open houses, but ultimately it's an invitation to get eyes on your property, get people thinking, feeling if this home would be right for them. Myth six, you have to fix everything. Again, focus on ROI, focus on your return on investment, not perfection. It's not a new home. And myth seven, last myth for today, is you don't need an agent. You don't need a realtor. Well, a great agent is your guide, your advocate, your guardrail, and your game changer. Listen, I want to just take a second and say if you're here tonight, you're already doing something pretty powerful. You're learning. You're taking control of your financial future. And whether you're selling your first home, your family home, or a home you've loved for decades, I see you. All right. Selling a home isn't just a transaction, it's a transition. And it deserves care, strategy, and support. And that's why I created tonight's session because you deserve to understand your options, the relief available to you, and you deserve results. Right? So, anyway, that's what I have for you this evening. Thank you so much for listening. You could have been anywhere and you decided to time in today to hear a little bit about Arizona real estate and the strategies available today. So before we wrap up, I just want to share a quick story with you. A few months ago, a couple in Mesa, we'll call them Denise and Robert, they came to me a bit overwhelmed. Okay. They had owned their home for 18 years and they had equity. All right. But they weren't sure if they could sell it without losing money because they now had um, taken out another loan on that property. And they weren't sure if they could sell it without losing money after the repairs and commissions and any other um, costs of selling the home. So we did a full strategy session. And we looked at the comps and we created a hybrid plan, right? A light refresh, staging, virtual staging, and a pre-marketing to the buyers list. Well, the home sold. The home sold in a matter of days. They moved closer to family and they're rebuilding their life. And they are back in control. They have better control. So that's what I ultimately want for you. I want control for you. I want confidence and I want clarity. All right. So whether you're thinking about selling next month, next spring, or sometime in the next year or two, don't wait for perfect timing. Start with clarity and let's turn your someday into a solid plan. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Appreciate that. For more Arizona real estate truths and Arizona real estate living. Ta ta for now.